Alright, how's it going guys? Welcome to the Blender world. Now, as you can see here, this is a brand new 3.1 Blender with default setup. What are we going to do in this video is we're going to set up our Blender to optimize for modeling. So there will be some add-ons we're going to install and some settings we need to do in order to getting our software ready to go for modeling. Okay, because this is an intermediate course for 3D modeling, I'm assuming some of you already know how Blender works, but I have a very basic knowledge and experience in doing that. This course is going to be picking up with a little bit faster pace to quickly getting everything done. It's not really a beginning course, so I'm hoping you understand a lot of these things we're not going to cover too much in depth for beginner levels. If you're really an absolute beginner, I would recommend you to taking another beginner course that I'm offering on Gumroad. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. The first couple of things we want to do, we're going to enable some default add-ons and also install a third-party add-on. So when we install add-on, we're going to go to the edit and go to the preferences, and we're going to go tap the add-on tab, and we're just going to, first thing we want to do is the type node. We're going to enable node wrangler add-on. So this is the add-on, so we should be coming with default. And next thing we are going to search is the loop tube. This is also built in Blender, so we just need to enable that and check it on. And then the third add-on we need to install is going to be a third-party add-on, and it is called Machine Tools. So let me grab this page over here, so you can download that in the Gumroad for free for the standard version. Okay, this is a super useful add-on for modeling, machinery, and hard surface modeling, but we will be using some of the features to do that. And if you really want to know how to use this add-on and some of the feature, I have another separate videos on YouTube channel, and also I already put this videos inside of your course file, so you can watch that as a bonus. And here we're gonna just do, after you download that add-on, you're gonna go installed and go to the where you put your add-on located and just do install add-on, and give a second, and it's been installed. And now we just need to type machine tools right here, so we just need to be making sure to enable that. So when we open up this menu, we have some drop down selection menus we can do. We are going to select smart vertex and uncheck the focus, and we can do the modes pie, view pies, and also cursor and a origin pie. So this is what we're going to use for this tutorials. You can definitely explore what other options that you can use for this add-on, because they offer tons of tools, but we're not going to go too deep in here. It's just some very handy tools that we can use, and it's really good to have, and also 100% free, so making sure you grab that and utilizing that in your workflow. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to do some changes for the interface in order to optimize the user experience for our modeling process. After we install the machine tools add-on, we can usually just hit the tab and quickly go to the edit mode. As you can see, after we select the vertex, and then it will be highlighted with orange, but it's sometimes a little bit too small. So what we can do here, we can just go to the edit, go to the preferences, and let's go to the themes and the 3D viewport, and scroll all the way down here, and we can changing the vertex size. Right now it's default by 3 pixels, so I typically just do 5, so just to make it a little bit bigger. Look, watch this. So it'll be easier to navigating when you're doing modelings, but you don't have to make it too big. But I think 5 should be fine, and for what I use. And you can even change the colors if you want. You can just scrolling all the way up here, and vertex you can change the color accordingly, but I'm just gonna set this at default and use full black. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're gonna get set up navigation, and here we're just gonna enable the depth, and also we're gonna go here to zoom to the mouse positions. Okay, next thing we're gonna go with the system. For the brand new Blender you installed, sometimes they just put a none, and what we're going to do here, if you have a pretty good PC with a pretty decent GPU, you want to go to the CUDA, and then making sure your GPU is selected. So you don't need to check both, you just check GPU and it should be good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do here, we're gonna hit this bar and save preferences, and making sure you check the auto save preferences, so that every time when you do any changes on the preferences, you will be saved automatically. Okay, hit save, and then we can come out, and we're gonna go to the object mode now. Okay, so next thing we want to go with here is we're gonna go to this camera icon, and then we want to change the render engine from EV to cycles, and also changing the device from CPU to GPU. It's just because it's going to be much more photorealistic rendering when you're doing that. Although this course is focusing on the modeling part of it, but still your Blender is supposed to set up in this if you're very into product rendering. Okay, so now let's go to the viewport on this side. A couple of small things, you don't have to do this, but just personal preferences. If you go to this overlay, show overlays, you can go here, there's a drop down menu, and then you can just uncheck the floors, because sometimes it's going to be a little bit annoying when you see that very often. You can disable these X's on the viewport, and then it will be much easier, cleaner. If I go to the front view, I still have this grid going on here. Okay, side view, top view, but just when I'm floating things around, then I would no extra grid, everything else on it. Okay, so this is kind of like a very convenient way to do so. So I prefer to do this. And next thing, if we hit N key, and then we're gonna have a sidebar on this side. If we go to the view, the default focal length is 5mm, and for product renderings, well, usually we want to stay with 100 or 110. My personal preference is 110, because sometimes I shooting images with my cameras, when I compositing them together, this is the good focal length according to my camera. So you can do 100 or 110, whatever you want. Okay, so immediately you can see things get to zoom in a little bit, and then when you're rotating things around, it doesn't have too much distortion for the perspective. Another thing you want to set up is the clip start. The default is 0.01. I found like if we just do a little bit smaller, it'll be much easier when you're navigating on small items, and it's not gonna clip very easily. So you can do that. Just set to 0.001. It works pretty well. Okay. Let's go to the next areas. On this part, as you can see here, we have camera, cube, light, and on this one, there's a filter kind of icon. We're gonna click this, and we want to enable this selectable, and also the viewport. So now you can see we have more things we can do here, and these are just be visible on the port, and you can, if I uncheck this selectable, so I would not be able to select this cube anymore. So if I uncheck this camera icon, you will not be seeing these items in the viewport. And also this one is just for the viewport views, so you can do things like that. So this also small minor things, but it's gonna help you quite a bit when you're doing modelings and when you're doing some test renders. This is the way how I set up my Blender. Okay, so we got all these done. Next thing, which is very important as well, what you can do here, you can use your number pad key on your keyboard, which is on the right hand side of your hand, which is the one that I already mentioned in the previous videos, that the reason why you need to get a full keyboard, because the default setting for number 1 is the front view, and the number 3 is the right views, and the number 7 is the top view. So what you can do here, if your mouse has side buttons, I showed you pictures before, and you can just program these numbers on your mouse, so you can quickly use your mouse to kind of just navigating things around to getting that perfect angle when you're doing modeling, which is very, very convenient. So making sure you get that set up before you start modeling. Okay, there are some few tips that I want to give it to you as well for this. So when you do this, if you select a object, get into the edit mode, we have quite a bit tools on the left hand side. You can choose to use them, but the majority of the time I don't touch them very often. I use a shortcut to do all these operations, which is actually speed up your modeling process. One thing I want to let you guys know, you can just select one vertex and put this move as your default position. So whenever you select, you still can use the box select tool. And then when you select them, you will have this move tools, the cursor, which you can do here. You can quickly just grab these and to do manipulation, doing changes, and you can do different things. So that's kind of a little bit convenience for some people. And I think sometimes you're just doing precise movement, you're always having this enabled. That would be pretty cool. So just put this one, select that, and if you tap the edit out, you go to the object mode. So it's gonna stay with your 3D origin. Okay, so this is one tip. Another thing I want you to know, if you hold Control Alt and the Q, and you can quickly separate the entire viewport into 4 different parts. And actually there was one top view, front view, and also this is perspective view, so what you're saying them, and the right hand view, so you can quickly see these things. And this can be pretty handy if you have a reference image. You can do that. And if, for example, if I'm go to edit this, and you will see all things going on different perspective. Some other 3D softwares like Cinema 4D usually have all these kind of layout as a default. So I personally prefer to just having the clean one views and to work with. And one last tip, you can see here we have another menu down here. This is timeline. Because we're not doing animation, we can just actually minimize this. In order to do that, if you move your mouse over here, you will see it change to a cross. And now what you can do here, you can left click and then drag, and then you see an arrow pointed down, which means the window is gonna merge with the other one. So I just then do that. So now you will have one single viewport windows available to do. Okay, so this is very easy and convenient to do, and we can go to the modeling whenever you need it. And after you're setting everything up and making sure you save all these as a default, and I would typically do, because I know what I would do. Usually I would set up everything manually, so I don't need all these things being built when I open up a Blender every single time. So I just gonna select everything, hit X and delete it. And right now I'm in the front view, which is the perfect views that I want to use. So what I would do here, I just gonna go to the file and go to the default and save start up file and do that. And so in this way, and every time when I open up Blender, it's going to look like this, and with all the settings that I made, then you are ready to rock and roll in modeling. Well, this is pretty much everything we need to do for setting up Blender. Now, the next video, we're gonna start modeling our cosmetic product case by case. I will see you in the case study. Bye.